And we're live on another Thursday night jam with RCJesus and SASquatch. You got Nick, aka RCJesus, Chris from Scale Audio Solutions, hence the SASquatch. Uh, we are here for another Thursday night. I think it's my turn to be exhausted tonight. I think Chris isn't as exhausted as normal, and I'm pretty exhausted, but such is life, right? At least if one of us always has decent energy, we're good.
I'm feeling pretty good. Just my tooth doesn't hurt anymore. I'm actually feeling like a human again. So,
Yeah, right. Tooth shit's the worst, man. That's an awful.
it's the worst. It sucks.
Gets still
Oh,
excited he wants to be on my lap. What a shock. This is how you lived to beat the creek, huh? If I sat down, you were up here. Yeah. Um, so
oh,
tonight we'll be going. I'm not gonna dig far into this, but I got a globe liner project from work. One of the guys was stuck, can't figure out the reverse lights or something like that with the MFC and stuff like that. But I've done this stuff a bunch of times on a bunch of different radios, so I know if I dig into it, I'll get it figured out. So tonight I'm just gonna take it apart because I haven't been working on this. So I'm gonna get the body off, see all the wiring was done, how everything's placed and set up, make sure everything's all good. And then this weekend we'll probably start getting out the manuals and messing with it and checking it out. And if I get stuck reviewing some old YouTube videos and all that good kind of shit. So we'll mess with this a little bit. You'll get to see the guts of a globe liner. These are my favorite ones, even though I actually don't own a short stock one like this yet. I need to. It's funny how that works sometimes. I have all the other trucks, but even though the stubby cab overs are my favorite, I don't own one yet. Uh, so we'll check that out. They're pretty much the same as all the rest, just a lot shorter wheelbase, a lot better turning radius on them. And we'll talk about the new, I'm sure everyone's pretty much seen it by now, the new RC four-wheel drive Midnight Edition K5 TF2 that came out with the black mirrors, black wheels, blacked out grill. Everything's all blacked out, murdered out. I can't remember. Maybe even the bumpers are. Um, I got to see that at Beat the Creek last week. That was cool. Have one on the way for the shop already. So we'll see how they do. And yeah, I've been busy, so I'm a little tired. So what do you got going on? Anything, or are you just chilling?
not much. Just chilling. Yeah, I've got a 4-day weekend this weekend, so I might get some stuff done. But
Oh
I'm kind
yeah.
of
No, Memorial Day's next weekend, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I took Friday and Monday off this week because I had some days off to burn before I lose them. So
Ah, gotcha. Yep.
yep,
Might as well use them.
yep.
Use it to lose it.
Well, we used to
What's
be
up,
able to
Rob? How's it
carry
going, buddy?
one or two over, but yeah, we used to be able to carry a couple over, but we can't now this year. So.
Oh, you got to use them all each year?
Well, so we used to get 3 and we could carry 1 or 2 over. Now we have 4, but we can't carry them over. So we get an
Okay.
extra day off, but we can't carry them anymore. So, yep. Oh, did you just sorry to interrupt? Did you order those tires?
Nope, totally flaked and forgot because I've been so busy until I sent you the link to this. Are they still on sale?
Yeah, it looks like they are.
Okay, good. Then I'll get them ordered. If you remember tomorrow, because I'm beat, I'll probably forget after tonight to put them on my not in stock list to log in remotely and do it. But if you remember tomorrow, message me and I'll be at work. And I'll
Okay.
put.
Oop,
What
I
are
will
you up?
try.
Yeah, because I opened it to send you the shit and saw the part number shit and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, wheels and whoops. What's up, RC Junkyard? Stacy, how's it going? Tommy, what's up? We're just chilling. Another Thursday night hanging out. Nothing spectacular or special planned. I'm gonna finish a smoke and then start getting the cab off on this.
Oh, man.
The customer built it all and painted it and did all that jazz.
It
And
looks
then
good.
yeah, well, it looks good in pictures. The paint
Uh,
is very, very orange peeled.
uh,
But fortunately with the yellow, you don't notice it too bad. But when you feel it, you can feel it's like rough. But he did a great job with the sticker placement and the details. He built the truck well, it looks like. So now I just got to go through and check everything else out. He didn't want to do the MFC.
yeah.
So I had to do that for him. Like I said earlier, some of you guys weren't here. What up, Wayne? it was, I think reverse lights are coming on and forward, or a couple little things like that I got to go through and fix and figure out. So it's always the joys of wiring an MFC up to any radio except for the old FM or AM that Tamiya still makes for it.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that shit. I used to stock them. It's like, oh, we can put them on Futabas or Spectrums or Fly Skies or whatever to help with the dated early 90s radio. You're doing post BTC. We're doing post BTC inventory, huh? Yeah. Got to do that shit. It's busy getting back from BTC. It's a lot more work when you get home than a lot of people realize if you're a sponsor or a vendor, or even if you just went for fun and you brought 20 regular parts, getting it all put back over. Guys, making sure you didn't lose anything. It's a nightmare. But you got to pay to play, right? There's no fun without some work. So, all right, where's my screwdriver? The TF2. I think I don't have the page open right now. I do, but it's not up on my screen. There's, what was it? There's black wheels, black mirrors, black grill. I think it's lifted a little bit. I believe it has the blocks in it, front and rear.
It looks like it is, yeah.
What are the other differences I can think of off the top of my head right now?
It says it right on the front page. Let me look. It says
It's got a whole list.
you get you get better shock shafts. You get the engine bay dress up kit.
That's right. Yep, it's got the engine bay thing in it.
It's got the Rally 1.9 bead locks.
Yep.
Dick C-pick tires. It's got the flat back. It's got the lights. It's got the flat black camper like shell, whatever you want to call it, on the back.
Yep. Yeah, the topper.
But yeah, the grill's blacked out, the bumpers, the rearview mirrors, the door handles, all blacked out.
Yeah, she's murdered out, as we would have called it ages ago. I don't know if anyone still says that now. If you're not familiar with how these semis, how you get to the back there, there's two little switches. Locks it in.
They do that. It's the same on all of them, isn't it? No, all of them do that.
The Aeromax or the Night Hauler, one or the other, or maybe both. The battery actually goes underneath. The Cascadia, I can't either. I haven't built my Cascadia yet. I've done King Haulers, Grand Haulers, Globe Liners. I have not built any of the others. I have the kits. They're just still in boxes waiting to be built. All right. Now the fun part. Moving the bodies on these is always, especially when everything's wired in, is always a good time.
It's tedious, yeah.
Because the pipe stacks hang up on the tray.
Yeah. One little thing.
Yeah. There we go. Gently. All right.
Easy.
Okay, all that looks good. Okay. I wonder if they tell you to put it like that in the globe liner. Since I haven't done one of these, I'll have to check. I'm not sure how the magnet of the speaker. Well, I can't really move it around, but you can see the speakers right here, and the ESC built into the MFCs right there. So the magnet's sitting on the ESC.
Oh. Don't you put the MFC up front usually? That's a weird spot for it.
There's not really room for it up there.
Up on the cab, under the cab. I thought there was a spot right in front of the cab for it.
Well, there's I'm gonna have to look again and go through stuff and double check it. That's why I'm just getting my bearings tonight to know what I'm in for. Finish it. But there's all boxes up here. So I'll have to go through the manual and see what the options are. It gives you, usually gives you fuel tanks and all kinds of stuff. Seats are all in it, dash and steering wheels in it. So it looks like I just might have to move the speaker around because I don't know if I like it sitting on the MFC like that. That magnet's probably gonna screw with shit. And figure it out. The weight, it's got a weight that's in this box right here. There's a motor, and then there's an off-center weight that flips around, and that's what makes the truck sit there and vibrate.
Yeah, I've worked on MFCs before. They're funky.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed them since they came out in '93 or whatever. So
no, I don't think so.
Because it's like the MFC is like that big,
it's
and
huge.
today's day and age, it could be that big.
Oh, way smaller. Yeah, way
But
smaller.
Tamiya, they're making a fortune off this shit without changing it. So why
Right,
change it? These idiots keep buying it. Why are we gonna change it?
dude. I didn't
Maybe
realize the
I'll run on the
RC10 came
grill
with.
later. Well, there is a little bit behind the grill, Robert.
Yeah,
You didn't realize what?
I didn't realize that they still came with bushings.
Yeah,
It's all bushings still.
yeah. They keep it true to the OG.
What do
Oil
they?
light bushings for you.
I don't know if I can put bushings in it. It just feels wrong.
Okay. Well, aside from a little moving, possibly moving a couple things around, and I may not have to. Again, I'll go through the instructions since I haven't done one of these and double check. The thing is like you can. It's the control box is behind the grill, so I can't imagine they tell you to put it there, but maybe they do. Again, I haven't done one of these globe liners with MFC because you can't. You can kind of mess with it through the grill, but not really. Yeah, not really. So I'll have to double check all that. So it looks like I might have a little rearranging to do. And then good old radio programming. One of my favorite jobs.
I programmed an MFC on a pistol grip one time.
Yep, it can be done.
That was fun.
Oh yeah. Well, thankfully now, back in the day, it was way harder when you only had like a 4 or 5 channel.
Yeah.
Thankfully now we got 7 and 10 channel ones. It makes it much easier.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I did it on a 6 channel. I think.
okay, DX6 or
It was
something.
a 6. Yeah, I think so. It was a while ago. It was a buddy of mine's. He's got a night hauler.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I've
built
thought
that.
about doing pistol grip, but I haven't yet because I had the DX9 for them all. So it's like, well, they're already done. Do I really need to get more receivers and go through and do it again? Probably not.
Yeah.
Although I do need to switch. I want to switch my gears. Originally, I was always going to take a piece of Lexan, right, and cut out the shift gates. Because with the MFC, your throttle's over right here and your shifter is here. So in the middle, second speed, but then for first, you got to hold it over and you got to keep it held over there. Because if you start drifting, it'll shift or get in between gears, and then third gear is over here. So it gets a little annoying sometimes. And when you constantly hold it in the
And you
right
can just put it on a 3-position switch.
Exactly. So that's what I want to do. And this has, does it have any 3? Yeah, there's a 3, there's a 3, and there's more, another 3. So I don't know if I'm going to mess with that on his. If it's already set up the factory way, that's fine. He'll get used to it. But I've always intended to build Lexan shift gates, right? Like in supercars, where it's all cut out and there's an actual shift gate to make it nice and easy.
Yeah.
I've never taken the time to do it to mine.
I'm sure somebody's already designed a 3D print for that. If not, it'd be really easy to do.
I think you used to be able to get them on eBay already, like laser cut out like that of Lexan. Now, yeah. You should be painting me a rig soon, or Wayne. All right. Hell yeah. You still going green? Yes, it's definitely easier on the toggle switches than a shift gate, Rob. Then start on all the lights. Yeah, Wayne's got to fucking run like 80 lights on his because he's got all the chicken lights everywhere. So he's going to be going wiring crazy. Good times. This one is wired up fine and everything by the looks of it and all good to go as I expected it to be. Everything looks fine. Like I said, I just got the double check on the speaker and the control placement. That may be where they have to go, or I may have a different option to make it a little more easily controllable without having to take the body on and off. Because it's only 4 screws, and you get used to how you got to pry the exhaust and shit as you do it a couple times, but it's never fun, even when you're good at it. A bit of a headache. Yeah, going green. That's what I thought. You're doing kind of like a almost sublime green again, I think, on it. All right, Wayne? Green's always my jam, too. Hence the color of the logo for Gear Jammer. And tons of my rigs and real cars and other shit. I haven't gotten to work on Bronco again yet. But the new foam ring showed up from Holly for the fuel sending unit and all that shit. So maybe Saturday I get to it, but it'll probably be next week sometime. But I'm trying to drive to Badlands. Be about 100 lights total, Wayne says. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm trying to drive the Bronco to Badlands, but I'd like to daily drive it for a couple weeks before driving it all the way up to Indiana for 16 hours. So hopefully I can get that done in the next 7 days or so. All goes well,
Yeah.
it should only be about an hour's work. And then again, fingers crossed, should be golden. Um, Otherwise, I'm just gonna be working, taking care of the kiddo, taking with this thing. I probably won't mess with any RC projects for a while. I'm gonna be busy, so those will be sitting to the side. I do kind of want to get back to the rat rod because I got to get that finished to check that motor out and test it for heat and everything. Um, but life happens. It'll get done as it gets done. Not a big deal. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty tired, so my mind is just kind of spaced on what to get about and think about. Because I guess I could start looking up the manual for this and everything. Because of course I didn't bring it home. I actually have one laying around here somewhere, but easier to look it up online probably, and maybe see about all this jazz. But I'm just very much in a relaxed mode right now. Hopefully everybody else is too. It's nice to take a little time for yourself each day and relax and breathe. Mandatory, you go crazy. We were talking about that before we got in, at least like a half hour. Just sit down and veg out and watch TV or get on the internet or screw around or whatever. Read a part of a book, whatever. Mm. I got had no idea how expensive this shit was when I bought it, but it's pretty good. Got a little bit of Widow Jane tonight. I'd never heard of it. Bought it a week or so ago, 91 proof. That's pretty smooth. But I think I misread the price as 45 and I think it was 95, so it better be pretty fucking good. What we got going on with the lights? 100 lights would be the death of me. He's 34, 36 was hating life doing warranty or wiring. Yep, I agree, Rob. I hate lights. So I used to always hand all my shit off to Baskins. John Baskins from Power Shift RC when he'd come to UST and East Coast Scale Challenge and things like that. He hasn't been doing RC really for a while. I think he's back into it now, but not heavy like he was. And I would just hand him a trailer or a project that was finished, but I didn't want to do the lights on. I'd be like, here, can I have this back before the end of the event? Yep. And it was always a semi wrecker or some crazy trailer or something crazy. So he's like, sweet. I'm not done anything like this. And he loved it. You know, he would just disappear and just start wiring and soldering and going crazy. Some guys love that shit. I am not that guy. Just doing the MFC alone is like, what, 10, 12 different wire bundles to all the lights and everything. It's a lot of work running through the chassis and the cross members. They're not quick, simple jobs. They take a while. I don't think Wayne hasn't done one yet. I don't think. Are you putting one in your build, Wayne? I can't remember if you're doing the MFC. No, he got the GT power. That's right. And I think he might have switched to the Bear system, but I can't remember now. Hard to keep track of all this crap, you know. Uh, I really do. I'm looking at this global liner, and I have all the sticker sheets for like truck numbers, DOT numbers, all that kind of shit, little warning labels. I really got to get it on all my trucks because it makes a world of difference for how good and scale and realistic it looks. Always those little fucking details that just finish it off. I've got to go to. Thankfully, this time I just have to drop her off, but I got to drop the kiddo off at Universal on Saturday. She's got a friend's birthday party. She's going to. Thankfully, her mother works there at one of the restaurants as a part-time gig once or twice a month. So because of that, part of the reason she works there is she gets so many free Universal tickets per year. So thankfully, we didn't have to fork out the $106 or whatever for her to go to this party. But I'm sure they'll have a good time. Tough life for her right now. Universal twice in 1.5 weeks. Is this anything important? Nope. emails. All right, those will be there in the morning. But yeah, what are you up to typing away on?
Oh, helping someone out with 3D printing problems.
Oh, okay.
I was just on one of my, I was on my Facebook and it popped up on the corner of my eye and it's an issue I've had before. So I was like, oh, I know what you're having an issue with.
Here you go. Excellent customer service.
Well, I've fought that issue for like a month, so I feel him. He's pissed and frustrated. And I'm like, dude, I feel you. I've been there.
Yeah, and once you figured it out, it's probably like
This is what's going on. I hope it fixes it. Yeah, like I'm like, oh, I know it causes that. I fought that for a month.
Let me save you a few weeks.
I actually, what it really came down to is I upgraded my printer out of reliability.
Yeah.
Too many upgrades. And I finally figured it out. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the problem. So
I've seen
yeah.
that happen with anything. RC
Yeah.
cars, people do that shit. Upgrade to the max. I remember doing that. I had a little, remember the associated RC18s and 18Bs and 18Ts and Rs and shit? These,
Yeah.
if you guys are familiar, these were out probably 20 years ago or so. And they were little 18 scales. The first time micro and mini shit came around, it was hot. And I put aluminum chassis because I bought it used and it had something like a carbon fiber chassis and a couple other hop-ups. But it had a fucking 9600 kV Tekin system.
Oh fuck.
The thing on, and it came with a 3S Thunder Power. And yeah, I remember this was I think I got this car like that in 06 or something. So it was a fucking rocket for back then. Nothing anywhere as close. But it would destroy the diff gears. So I upgraded the diff gears and I'm shredding axles and shit. So I had to get hardcore MIPs and then this breaks and this breaks. To the point it ended up like an $800 car in real money. It's probably actually one of my most expensive RCs and it's fucking stupid because I upgraded it to just ridiculousness. You can't even use it. It's been on a shelf for a long time. But it looks
I think the most ridiculous car I ever upgraded that was just like dumb was a 36 scale Losi with a brushless motor in it.
oh yeah.
Little 36 scale ones. It looked like a fucking mouse shooting across.
Little brushless motors in them.
Oh my god.
Fucking big.
Yeah. It was so stupid fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've driven like some crazy JADOs with the OS motors in it.
Yeah.
And those are obnoxious. But
yeah.
this was even more than that. It was just like you pulled the trigger and you lost it. You're like, where the fuck did it go? Like it's gone. Like it just disappeared.
Well, particularly when the smaller they get, the more crazy they are at speed.
It was so dumb. It just wheelied and disappeared.
It's like an 8 scale, you know, it sucks shit up, bouncing around. That's that 18T is why I learned to tell people like stay away from this, stay away from that, don't go too crazy with this, or you're gonna fucking regret it. Like you can, go ahead. And most of the time people listen, but sometimes they don't, and they come in $1,200 later after 6 months. Man, this thing sucks now. Can we make it almost stock again? Yep.
That was like all the freaking Incha T Maxes that I saw come through all the time. It's a perfect example of that.
Yep. They were garbage.
All fucking aluminum out, big block converted T Maxes, and you're like, and now what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah. Besides crashing and bend shit.
It's just gonna break itself over and over and over.
Yeah, they look pretty on a shelf. If you're building a badass blinged out shelfer, they're great for that. But that's about it. What's up, scale size? Oh yeah, it's already built. I just wanted to pop it open. It's a shop project for a customer. The MFC got put in it, but I know they were having trouble with like the reverse lights coming on, going forward, or some simple shit like that. And I've been doing these for years, so I was like, well, I don't ever have time when I'm at the shop, so I'll bring it home, pop it open, see where we're at, get familiar with it, so I know what to do this weekend. So I wasn't doing a whole lot with it besides just popping it open and investigating it. But man, I love these globes. I have one. I need to build it because these work so well. They get good traction. They steer well. They're badass. Just like the reason we drove cab overs on the farm, you know, a lot tighter steering, get in and out of place a lot easier. Not as smooth a ride and a lot more noisy, but it's an RC car, so who cares? But it looks like, as I expected, everything's right as rain for the most part. Might need to move this speaker and this front control unit. I'll dig into some manuals and figure that out because I haven't built one of these globes yet, so I need to double check myself. I don't have the experience with it. And I am one that is RTFM, read the fucking manual. No matter how long I do shit, I'll be 80 years old and building shit, and I'm still gonna get the manual out to make sure I'm not fucking it up. Too many little parts, and the worst part is all the different linked hardware. Too easy to screw up where hardware goes and accidentally cause bad problems. Seen customers come in where they've taken something apart and just start throwing it back together, and they put long screws like that, where short screws like that were supposed to be in like a diff housing. The screw goes into the diff gear. My rear diff won't move anymore. Okay, take it apart. Well, you didn't read the fucking manual and just start jamming screws everywhere, and there you go. $80 later, it works again. Good job.
Or they put their diff in backwards or something stupid.
Yeah, right.
It won't roll anymore. Chink, 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 chink. Like, oh yeah.
Scale size. I know, right? But that's because everyone's pussies now, scale size. He's saying it's funny nowadays they call cab overs death machines. Globe on king rails is the sweet spot. I have a globe that is probably about on grands, and it's way too long. It pushes like a bitch, and it's a nice truck. It's awesome, but it's a street queen. You know, it's a pavement princess. And I'm into all the heavy equipment, so I like my trucks to actually drive through dirt and uphill a little bit and shit. But yeah, I remember my uncle got in a wreck with a Peterbilt cab over we had on the farm, and my little cousin was all of 5 or 6 in the front seat, and no seatbelt on, right? It's the fucking 80s in a semi truck. Who gives a shit? So he flew forward and hit the dash and cracked the windshield with his forehead, but he was fine. You know, bounced right off it, as little kids do, and he was golden. I don't know why people are scared of them now and calling them death machines. I just heard someone refer to a cab over as that for the first time like 3 days ago. And I'm like, what, a 3-wheeler? No, the cab overs, man. You're right there in front of you. I'm like, you're right there in front, like fucking 8 foot over top of everybody. You know? And if you're coming up to a low hanging bridge, it's way too low. You're gonna see it in time to veer off or stop, you know, or at least duck.
Well, and you're still gonna have that problem in a conventional. So
yeah, yeah, because the hood's gonna clear it, so it's still gonna come. Although those cabs aren't quite as tall, but yeah, I don't know why people are scared of them. Scale size loves day cabs. I'm not a huge day cab guy. I like the sleepers. I need to build a day cab triaxle heavy haul truck still. Hopefully I'll be able to start doing a lot of that stuff here in the coming months and years. Get some more time. But I really like the way the heavy hauls look. My dump truck is a pillbox cab over, you know. That's hilarious. That's why I picked that one up when it came up for sale. I was like, oh, I've never seen a pillbox one. I like that. Something different, you know? Not everybody has it. Although, really, the way to go to build dump trucks is to use RCP Regis kits because his shit just is beautifully assembled, designed, and works flawlessly. If you're ever into semi stuff and are looking for rollbacks, dump kits, dump trailers, visors, all kinds of accessories like that, RCP is the place to go. You find them on Facebook. Reg Clark up in Canada. I think the West Coast somewhere, but I can't remember. Dylan, fuck off. I've done business with him a few times. Absolute pleasure and thrilled with what I get every time. Never been disappointed. His prices are really good too, especially it's all small batch custom made stuff because I think he generally makes like 6 to a dozen of something at a time.
Scale size is asking if you got any new construction equipment. You got that new front loader.
Yeah, I got a new loader. If you weren't on last week, I got the XDRC cat loader. Picked that up from Jeremy at Beat the Creek. So my old 870Ks just always throws fits now. I can't stand it. It's the only piece of equipment I have I hate. So I was like, I need a good loader. He had one. And the price was right. I was like, oh shit. All right, I'll take it. I didn't really want to buy it, but I did. You know,
I really want to buy it. Bullshit! You hunted it down from the back of his trailer and made an offer on it.
Well, in the same way, like how he didn't.
But I didn't want to buy it.
Yeah, he didn't want to sell it, but at the same time he did, you know. Like I was like, what do you got? Is that a loader? And he started telling me, I'm like, shit, last thing I need to do is
That's
buy.
like saying I didn't really want to drink that much last night.
But okay, what do you want for it? And then he gave me a okay, I guess I'd sell it for this price. I was like, all right, sold. He's like, damn it. Because he wanted to sell it. He's always about flipping shit and getting new projects, but at the same time he really didn't want to because he hadn't had it that long. So neither one of us really wanted to do what we did, but we both did at the same time. Yeah, hydraulic dumps are cool. But Reg's mechanical driven shit. My dump trailer is what screw drive, I think. And it works amazingly. I like for the tailgate or whatever, I don't know what they call it on a dump trailer. I would guess tailgate, but the gate for the back. The real ones, right, when it starts to lift, it's all mechanical where it unhooks the pins that come out to hold it. Reg's work the exact same, just like the real dump trailers. Just the shit. There's no extra things to flip, no extra controller. I just use a winch controller and up and down, and it does its thing beautifully. So, I would show you the loader, but as you know, that shit's heavy and cumbersome. I don't really feel like going out into the hallway where it's stored right now, dragging it in here. My like Dylan would come flying through and cut me off and make me fall down, and I'd smash another cap or
We just
something.
see you go across the the door in the background.
Yeah. Loader goes flying into the computer and through my sliding glass door, like, sweet. Stay up late tarping and boarding this shit up. Hope you like bugs in the house, kid. That would be a travesty. The best outcome would be just slipping and crushing another cab.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, the XD loaders seem to be some of the best ones for loaders from everything I've heard and seen. Tractor like ag tractor scale size you're building, like a case or a deer, or a Challenger or something, or the tractor like semi tractor or construction tractor or something. Tractor is a term that it's fucking crazy because it can be used so many ways.
Oh my god, tractor trailer, tractor, caterpillar tractor.
Yeah.
Mm, fuck.
Mm. The Dane is good. All right. Well, hopefully this will be an easy job on Saturday. An hour or less. That's what I'm shooting for. If all goes real well, it might be 10 minutes. Articulating from John Gibbs. Okay. Uh, John Gibbs, is that North State, right? He's got the AT10 or whatever blue and white one articulating now. I think he just did. And he has that sweet, not a feller buncher, log skidder that I've seen at Cabin Fever. That thing's dope. Steiger, nice. I got a Steiger in the bedroom. It's an Ertl conversion. It's not 3D printed, but it's pretty cool. I gotta still add a servo to it to make the 3-point hitch go up and down. Because right now it's still just the stock. Move it yourself. But I looked at it, drill a hole, attach a servo, a little bit of rod, Z bending and work, and it'll be golden. So she'll get done sometime as well. Oh, time is at 9:34 already. Sleep like a baby tonight. I am itching to get back to work on Bronco, but at the same time, it's been like 95 degrees every day and fairly humid, even though it hasn't been raining. So it hasn't been exactly the most enjoyable sit in the driveway in the sun, dropping gas tanks and wrenching on shit weather either.
Right.
Uh, I'd like to see one of the scale size talking about the Steiger. I'd like to see one of the old internationals. God, I can't remember what the model number is. but it had the crazy long front nose and then the short back end. We had one on the farm after I was done on the farm, when I was in school and working other full-time jobs and part-time jobs doing during school. What years would that have been? Probably like 03, 04. They got it stuck behind the house one time because there's a big spot that I think there must be a spring. And all the time it's wet, but in the spring, we called it Lake Barber. Right? It was like a good pond size. Then you get a couple feet deep in the center. And one spring they were going through it and it wasn't that deep at that point. But that whole son of a bitch, one side of it just blah, like framed out, axle out in the mud. I was like, oh, that's the only reason it stopped sinking. Son of a bitch sat there for like a week before it got like 3 tractors together to reef it out of there.
Oh, man.
I imagine it was stuck in. But it was out of my hands. I wasn't working on the farm anymore at that point, so I just got to kind of watch the madness. It was nice. I'm like, yep, y'all have fun with that. That is a stuck right there. God knows how many tens of thousands of pounds suction into the mud. And of course, that's before you got all the nice kinetic ropes like Yankum ropes and Bubba ropes and shit like that. You're out there with chains, throwing jackets over them, shit, and standing there like,
Yeah.
it's not dying.
Yeah, don't blow up. Don't blow up. Don't break.
Yeah.
Please no.
6788. I think you might be right, GP, aka Chris. I think you might be right. That sounds right. They didn't make very many of them either, as I recall, because I don't watch it much anymore. But there's two channels a guy on YouTube does. Toy Tractor Times, which if you're into scale shit, like model railroads and the 1/10 scale crawling scale photography and shit, it was worth checking out because there's a lot of tricks you can learn. And these guys build huge, some of them are massive, like 30 feet by 15 feet displays. And they're all around the Midwest, mostly in the Iowa area, that they do these once every month or two. And they've got all the 1/64th usually. Sometimes it's the 1/16th and the micro stuff and whatnot, but usually it's 1/64th. I have all the Erdl farm sets with the silos and the ranch and the barns and the dairy barn and all that shit. I've got it all. Some of it from when I was a kid, and then I sourced the rest of it online and got it for mine when she was younger. And they don't even use that shit because that's not good enough, right? And all the videos, one guy used the house you could get once, but he did a ton of work to it. These setups they do are dope. Obviously, nothing's working; it's all static. But the fucking lengths they go to, and then I imagine transporting it. Like, how do you transport all that and not destroy it? And then on top of that, you got to set up all your equipment and all this shit when you get there and tear it all down. Like, that's a big job, dude. That's probably a week and a half's worth of work to go set it up for 2-3 days. But it's super cool. So that's Toy Tractor Times. And then the other channel he has is Big Tractor Power. And that one's cool because he goes through from brand new tractors all the way to stuff back to like the 50s, probably is about the oldest he gets into usually. A lot of stuff from the 60s to the 90s. And he'll go through how many they made, what years it was produced, the horsepower, the torque. He gives you all the specs that they would have given you at the dealer. It's pretty cool. And I think the 6788, if that's it, that long nose, there was a name for it too. An anteater or something. They had a funny name for it too. International. I think it was just International at the time. I don't think it was Case International yet. I think it was still just International Harvester. And I don't think there was many made because some of these big tractors was like 5, 10, 20, 60 made. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, some of these purpose-built ones, like I was reading the other night about, oh fuck, what was it? It was one of the big cats. And I was reading how they never really made that cat. It was not, it was the
The D12 dozer.
Yeah, like they never really made it, but it was
modified 2 of them, right?
Yeah, and they modified it with the truck motor and everything. And I was like, oh, that's fucking rad. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the same thing on Facebook, some video or something probably a week ago for 3
that ain't had to be a fucking beast.
The D11 is massive. Like, imagine. Now the D12, it had a bigger blade on it and everything, I think, and bigger ripper and stuff. but I don't know if they extended the chassis.
They did, yeah.
Did they? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they said they extended the chassis to make room for the motor, the bigger motor.
Yeah.
So I was the biggest I ever been on was
Big son of a bitch.
I was around a big ass Komatsu one time. I remember it was just fucking massive.
Komatsu makes the biggest one,
Yeah.
but it's flat track. It's not the what's the name for it? The tri track.
This was a flat track Komatsu.
Yeah, that's the
Right.
biggest one in the world. But those get buried more because they're flat tracks. They don't work as good
Yeah.
on
I remember I was like
them.
I'd have been 7 or 8 years old when I saw it, and it was just like
Yeah.
fuck. Like it was just like massive.
Especially at that size, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest I've seen in real life is probably like a D8.
Yeah. This is on a farm in California. They're using it for ripping. Yeah, ripping.
Oh yeah, big son of a bitch for pulling huge ripper.
Huge ripper behind it. Yeah. Yeah, huge ripper. It was an old Komatsu.
Yeah, that's where a lot of those huge old tractors and implements are, is in the farm country of California and what Central California, wherever it is, inland. A lot of them I've seen on toy track or on big tractor power, and a few of them where the old huge shit. That's where it went, and that's where it is, because transport is a bitch. And none of them want to ever give them up.
Yeah, it was. I just remember how big it was. My dad worked on all the equipment for the farm company down there, and they owned thousands of acres. The farming group. There were a bunch of family ran thing, all brothers.
Oh
And
yeah, you got an old school family of like 8 brothers that all own 500.
they have got hundreds of pieces of equipment. So
yeah,
they mostly
that would
did.
be cool to witness, dude, to walk through the equipment buildings and just see it.
Oh, so much. I
Up.
grew up, well, like when I was 8 years old, I drove the service truck out.
Yeah.
I was driving the service truck out and hooking up the grease zerts and doing all the cotton pickers.
Yeah.
Because I was small enough to get to where the zerts were.
Yep.
So I would go out.
Fun for you.
Oh man, they scared the shit out of me at first though, because you see a cotton picker go, if you've ever seen one, there's big tumblers and these big fingers, and it just looks scary as fuck. And they shut it all down, and there's like shit. It depends on which one, but there's 6 to 10 zerts in between those big finger rollers. So I had to crawl up in there, hook up the zert, and I'm like, God, don't turn on, please don't kill me. And just and I get done, and like you see the grease squirt out, and I pull it off really quick and run away.
Right. I would have
But
been, man, that equipment getting in there, like when I had to get into the balers, because like something would stand up because it breaks tines and then starts, right? And sometimes the rock or some shit would get up in there and you're leaning over those tines trying not to get spiked, and like, oh God, this thing. Because once in a while you'll be sitting there and it'll be at a precarious spot and it'll be sitting for 2-3 minutes, and all of a sudden you go,
point. Yep.
and that moves, all the rest assembly moves, and you're just sitting there like, fuck, let me get in and out of here before I die.
I hate balers. I don't want any. I fucking hate balers.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah, I grew up down there with my dad working on that shit. So it was cotton picking and tomatoes, tomato harvesters, bean harvesters. Yeah, cotton, tomatoes, and beans were the main ones at that time.
When I was a kid, they did corn, soybeans, and sometimes wheat and oats and hay. And then by the time I was old enough to start running shit, 11, 12 years old, it was just hay. They were done with all the soybeans, all the shit. So it was easy. But I still got to run the big hay machines. We had the big wagon that you hook behind a tractor and it has the scoop and shoots up. You just peel down the windrows and stacks it and you drop it. We did round bales sometimes. I'd fork them with the tines. My grandpa got a scoop. Or
I did hay up here in Oregon. I did more hay. I did hay for a couple of summers, but we'd just go and we'd actually find guys that had hay growing and weren't fucking with it. And we'd be like, hey, let us cut and bale in it and we'll give you 25%.
Yeah.
We used to run around and in like 2 or 3 days, we'd cut, swath it, bale it, and then hook it on a trailer. And we either use it for, at the time I had horses, so we use it for our horses or we'd sell it. And then we just give the guy 25% of whatever it was going for per ton at the time.
Yeah.
And so we did that for a few summers, made a lot of money, like to me and 4 other guys.
Yeah,
And
nice.
yeah, I didn't do hay in California. California is all San Joaquin Valley is just grapes,
Fruits and
cotton.
vegetables, right? Yeah.
It's grapes, cotton, melons. If you're, garlic, if you're over near fucking Kernan, Kernan. I can't remember what garlic. I know where it is. I can't remember the name right now.
Well,
But
Oxnard, they grow a lot of onions, right?
well, that's Southern California.
Mm,
That's not San Joaquin. That's where I was born, is Oxnard.
okay.
Um, but San Joaquin's Fresno, around Fresno area. So Madera, Modesto, uh, Las Palas, Fireball, all these little farm communities out there.
Fireball.
Yeah, Fireball, Baughh, Fireball. Um, but yeah, they didn't do any grapes. It was cotton. Fuck tons of cotton. They had shit. They had to have at least 40 cotton pickers, cotton picking machines.
Were they the self-propelled ones back then or not? Probably not, right?
Oh yeah, no,
Were they
completely.
still?
Yeah, well, they had a couple at the time. The only difference between the old ones and the new ones is just how many rows they do at a time. So I know like the old ones could do 4 rows at a time. And then the really new fancy ones could do 8 rows at a time.
Yeah, the ones that are like massive combines. Have the
Yeah, so they have the huge bed, the
like
bigger
fucking
basket in the back and
has all
everything.
those
Yeah.
fingers and the cutters and all this shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn, if that thing ran into you, you'd be chewed into 10,000 pieces before you got through the
Yeah.
header.
So the old ones were the same thing, same idea, just smaller.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, they're scary as fuck. I actually still somewhere I have a couple of the finger tines from the machines because
Yeah.
they get worn out and they toss them, and I'd be like, "Ooh, you take one."
Oh, I
And
forgot. I looked on my phone. GP Chris, it was a 6788. You nailed it. So I gotta check. That sounds right, but I gotta check. So I checked.
yeah, the cotton pickers were wild. I'd go ride along with them at night when they were picking.
I didn't even realize they grew cotton in California.
Lots. That was their main crop was cotton.
Really?
Lots of fucking cotton. Yeah.
They grow almost everything in fucking
Well, I mean,
California.
grapes are probably the biggest one. Like you can drive for an hour and all you see is grapes. Literally.
Yeah. Well,
Hour. You drive for an hour.
California, Napa Valley, that whole area is pretty famous for that shit.
In Napa Valley is for the wine.
Mm.
In central San Joaquin Valley, they still do a lot of wine, but it's more of just the grapes and raisins.
Where does Dulcich live? Where they're always wrenching on
Right by there, because the guys that he drag race with, they're all guys I drag. Like I hang
Bakersfield, Central Cali.
yeah,
That's
he's
more
around.
south.
He's out. He's out in the farm area. He's not
Yeah,
that far
he
from.
is a farmer. Like he grows.
He's out in. I looked it up one time. He's out. I want to say he's between Dos Palace and Modesto, but I can't remember for sure. He's
Okay.
out there, and it's funny because I've been on that road. Like I know I've been on the road. I
Yeah.
looked at it one time, and we used to do street drags out there. And the guy that did the street drags was Jay Dietrich, and he was one of one of the family that owned the farms. And Jay would host street drags in front of what we called the big shop, and we would start up right at sunset, and you had guys trailering in shit that was fucking insane. And we'd have 40 cars at a street drag. It was big deal. And I swear to God, Dulcius had to have been there once or twice.
Oh yeah, more than
I don't
likely.
know how he wouldn't have been. Like I probably met the guy and don't even remember because I was so young and I didn't know he wasn't anything back then.
Yeah, he's wrenched on shit since he was like 12 years old or something.
Yeah. So, and I think I talked to Jay one time and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Dulcius." Like he knew him from all the fucking around. So, but what was cool is
years.
well, the big shop was private property hosted. And so they would all park all their trailers and cars on the private property. And what we do is they would roll out, run it down, and then there was a back road to come back.
Yeah.
And so if the cops ever showed up, if nobody was out, they couldn't do anything. So they couldn't come on the property without a warrant.
Yep.
So they would just be like, "Bye, go, shoo, private property."
We'll hang out here for 4 hours long after you get bored of waiting for us.
Yeah, so it was fun. I grew up around that shit. It was a blast. But yeah, he couldn't have been more than 15, 20 minutes away from that shop where he lived. So
yeah.
So I'm sure he'd been around. I'm sure he'd crossed paths before.
He seems
And
like
since then,
he's probably my favorite character out of all those guys.
Oh, he's so fucking. He's just an old school hot rodder. Like watching him work on his old Mopars and shit. He's just like Yeah,
fucking
I'm gonna
hilarious too, man.
pop him with a hammer, like fucking,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna ball hone this block. I'm just gonna stick the ball hone in the diesel and brrr. He's like, it's just,
Yep.
I love it.
Fabricating brackets and shit out of some scrap metal and a vise and a hammer and the torch on the fucking
Yes,
sign.
fucking love it.
Chris, yeah, I'm sure you cheated, you fucker. I have the 164th too out there with all the toys. Cadence. I had a bunch, and then I went shit ton when I had a kid because it gave me an excuse. Of course, she liked them too, but a lot of buying it was for dad as well, of course.
I just bought axles for my brooder conversion.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Got the crane truck, the big crane truck.
Oh yeah, and what's up with the skid steer? I kind of forgot about your brooder conversions.
Skid steers right here. I was trying to print was trying to design a adapter from the motors to the tracks.
Mm,
And I'm just trying to get the pitch and the distance between the gaps right so that it sits in there right.
yep.
I was just doing the math, and I only gave it one shot, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with it anymore. So I need to go back to it. But that's where I'm at. I got the motors, I got them fitted into the chassis. I just got to get, once I get this done, then I could make it a driving unit. So
You were able to what? Fit them all. We were looking at getting it in the base, right? But then something was in the way. But then you figured out a way to modify it.
yeah, I cleared it. It's I cleared it, and I got different motors, so it's it sits like that now.
Yeah, perfect.
So it's I mean it's right, and they sit right side by side. So
Yeah.
so the only thing is you'll see that on the bottom. I can paint it, but you'll see that on the
Yeah,
bottom.
you never see the bottom, anyways.
Yeah, so it'll yeah, it's all good, and yeah,
Uh, shit.
just gotta
You can
figure out
see
how to
it,
get,
but
yeah,
you never see
I
it,
just gotta
right?
figure out how to get that to jive with that, like the drive unit,
Yeah.
because the one it comes with, it's not motorized, so it doesn't have anything to catch it. It just
Uh,
rides on it, so there's nothing to catch it to push it. So I gotta create that,
yeah, because you're dealing with
and
belts.
because it's yeah, it's tricky.
That's-
I just have to find some time to fuck with it, and I have. Oh fuck! I got this big bitch to convert still.
yeah, that's their D9, right?
Yeah, so I still have to fuck with this. It actually says D10 on it, but yeah,
Oh, okay.
this isn't a brooder. This is actually radio control. This is a new bright.
That's right. I forgot you had the new brights. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one's already got motors
The
and
ones that
drive.
people are going to cry when it gets cannibalized.
Well, this one had the wired controller.
Had you already got
This will be
people to watch
this will be a lot easier to convert. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's already
but it's pretty well detailed for what it is. So, and it's not like I haven't added anything. It's got some weight to it. So,
yeah, because there's motors and a battery and stuff in there and whatnot, right? So
yeah. And the ripper right now is just like push it down and lock it. But I'm gonna servo it, so it'll actually have servo.
servo or actuator.
I might do actuator. It's got little fake ones in here, so as a mounting
Yeah.
points for it. So it'd be really easy to put a couple of real actuators in there.
And prices have come
And
down
I'm
a
gonna,
lot in the last few years. They're
and I'm
still
probably gonna do that on the front too, because there's
Yeah.
two actuators right here. And then I got to figure out what to do here because it's got this not stock at all thing where it actually lifts and lowers it. So bars right, but
Oh yeah.
this is all weird. So I want to get rid of that, but that won't be a big deal.
Yeah,
But,
you can make those parts.
well, like it's got little lines for the actuators already, and like it's got windshield wipers. It's got spots for lights in it. Like it's not
Are
bad.
you keeping Chris is asking if you're keeping the rubber tracks on the new brake.
Probably. I mean, I don't see any reason to switch it out right now,
Yeah.
unless it gets really heavy. But I'd have to find some tracks that are compatible with this drive, or get a different drive. And
Does it have somewhere that has a tensioner on it, or would you have to make that? And like probably doesn't. It's probably just
yeah, it does actually. The bottom rollers are actually functional. So yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Yep.
talking how the front has and the real one's like a hydraulic unit that you pack.
Oh, no, it does not have a full function.
Like the hydraulic ones, it's just a shaft that's sealed with a spring.
No, it doesn't have a tensioner there, but I could probably do a little work and make it have a ability to be tensioned.
Yeah, put like an X-Max spring in there, cut it down to a few coils or something, and there you go.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all you need. And then as they stretch, you'll still be good for a long time.
Well, these have probably been on here forever. I don't know how much more they're gonna move.
Yeah, you'll find
This
out.
is it's been used, so it's yeah, we'll
That's
see. No, it's
pretty good for like weather check. Like it's not all dry rotted and shit, right?
yeah, no, they're nice and rubbed. They're nice and soft still. I was happy about that. I was worried about them being dry rotted, but they're actually really still have a lot of. There's no cracks in them, and if I pull it, they don't show cracks. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it'll be fun fucking around. I'm just fucking around with it. So I'll have that, and then I got the little guy, and then I've got the brooder crane truck I'm doing. Um, I've got some cheapy ones I bought, but they're not worth converting. They're garbage. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'll have the little Bobcat, the D10, and the crane truck, and my semi. So my Tamiya.
Well, I've already got the gears spinning then. That means between me, you, and Reef, that can be 3 people out at Proline with heavy equipment.
You're assuming I'm going to get it done before Pro Line.
Not this year necessarily, but maybe next year. You know what I mean? You got enough shit to finish before Proline this
I've
year.
got so much shit to finish, dude.
But like I can fly with the D5. I can fly with my skid steer and shit like that. Reef has a few of the hydraulic pieces. You'll have your converted shit. I'll have a mix of both. And we can start getting the West Coast in one of us.
Yeah, I like it. I just wish it wasn't so fucking expensive. Otherwise, I'd be into it more.
Yeah.
I know, and I still might fucking at some time bite the bullet and get into it. I was looking on the fucking Toucan last night, and they had a badass backhoe. I was drooling over.
Oh, I got some sick shit. Have you seen the huge stuff they're coming out with now? Like the 1/8 stuff?
Yeah, it's so
Like,
fucking.
who's gonna fucking buy this? There's gonna be
They're
like,
obviously selling it, otherwise they wouldn't make it.
yeah, they'll sell it around the world. I
That
could
crane, God, that crane's fucking crazy,
watch the
man.
video I posted where it fucking
Yeah,
puts its own weights and puts
yeah.
God, just
No,
like
that
thing.
that shit's fucking nuts, man.
I'm like, okay, the more I see this thing, the more I understand the price.
No, they have some cool shit. They have just a huge variety of shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Chinese have been going buck wild the last 10 years with heavy equipment. And so far,
yeah.
for the most part, even
Well,
they
then
the first few
I had
years.
talked to you about doing small equipment, and they're doing that shit. They're doing like the itty bitty little like fucking excavators and shit
Oh, they're
already.
doing like 187 stuff. It's fucking nuts.
Well, no, it's 12 scale, but it's like the little shit you use in your
Yeah.
yard. Like they're doing all that
Yeah.
crap. It's just nuts.
Yep.
There's so much shit they have.
Yeah.
So
You
much
could
shit.
spend a lot of money real fast. If you had
Oh God.
$30
Yeah.
to burn, you could do it in 10 minutes. Did you see,
Yeah.
I think it's 8 scale mining truck they're coming out with the dude sitting in it.
Mm.
And his like head's barely poking up above it with the radio in his hand. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's got to be 1,000 pound, half ton to a ton, probably.
Well, they got the 10 by 10
For this
freaking.
motherfucker.
They got the 10 by 10 dump truck with the crane in front of the dump. Like
Yeah,
that thing's nuts. I've been looking at that.
it's all sick.
The 110 scale 605B excavator. That thing's fucking huge. Oh my
Like, I'm curious to see where it goes because people have asked, well, how don't they do it 1/10? I'm like, it'll be too big and too heavy. Like, I can pick up a 60 or a 40 to 80 pound 14th scale piece of equipment by myself. At this point, 20 years from now, I probably won't want to, but right now I can and shit. But if I've got 10th or 8th scale at 150 to 400 pounds a piece, I'm either not going to want to if it's 150 pounds because it's going to suck. And if you slip, it's ruined.
Yeah.
Or I'm physically not going to be able to because it's 300 pounds, like the fucking mining truck. Like the mining truck is big enough. I am tempted in that 14th scale loader they came out with that will actually work with the mining truck. But I was like, that's another massive piece, and that's still 14th scale.
Well, that reminds me of the guy that used to come into the hobby shop when I was there, and they had to be quarter scale tanks because
Yeah.
he'd bring them in on a pallet. and he's a pallet jack, and you'd have to rent a U-Haul trailer to bring him in for us to work on him. And it would take two of us to get it off the pallet, and he would bring him in to work on him because, like, you know, something weird would go wrong, and I was like, "Fuck, I'll work on him. I don't give a shit." And, they were
Parts is
fucking
parts.
what?
Parts is parts.
Yeah, I mean, it was robotic. It was I've done robotics. It was all robotic shit, basically. At
Yeah.
that, you know, bigger ESCs, bigger motors, and I'm like, I know this shit. I got it. And
Some of those tank guys get nuts. There's some big ass tanks out there that are like all
it
metal.
was they were fucking huge. I remember I'd go and test drive them in front of the shop,
Yeah.
and people were just like, "What the fuck?" Like,
The Hobbit's invading.
well, it had the sound, it had the smoke. You know, it fucking a couple of them did the whole airsoft barrel shit. And they were the big pellet, the big airsoft pellets. Like, I don't know what he called them. I don't know, 40 cal, 30 cal. I don't know what they were. They're bigger.
Yeah.
And
I've never seen that before.
those are fun to work on. They're fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's cool when people bring in oddball shit like that. Can you fix this?
Yeah,
Sure. Don't know how long it's gonna take, but sure. Well, I'll get there.
well, he was usually little shit. Like he came in one time and he's like, "Yeah, one of my tracks isn't working." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like, and he'd call ahead and be like, "I'm coming," you know, so we're ready for him. We could have a spot set up because it took a spot up. And yeah, he brought it in one time, like, "All right, I'll get to it next couple days." I went, you know, and it was kind of cool. You'd pull like I don't know, 12 or 14 bolts, and the whole top would come up.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have like a big barrel plug.
Like probably like 5-6 millimeter bolts.
Yeah, big fuckers. But yeah, you take them all out, and the whole top would just come off. They were all built that way, and it would have one plug to unplug the upper electronics from the base. And so I'd do that, and I looked at it, and it was just like two set screws that came loose. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
a little bit all tight. Check the other ones. Yeah, check the other ones out, and
yeah.
And he's just like, he comes in, he's like, "Oh, here's $100." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like,
done. Thank you.
I get to play with your shit. It didn't take me long to fix it, and you gave me $100. Sure, anytime.
That's the best part. I think I've told this story before, so I'll keep it brief. But the one time I was working at the place before I started mine, and a customer came in with it was 14th scale, maybe 12th scale excavator. And he didn't know dick about RC. He had real heavy equipment company. And he got in and couldn't figure it out and started dicking with the wires and moving around. So he came in, "Can you fix this? Here's the radio, the thing, and the manual." You know, came in with it on a wagon. It was 90 pounds.
Yeah.
The manager was like, "No, I don't think we can work on that." I was like, Hold up. Yeah, we can fix this. At that point, I'm like, I'll never even see one of these things in real life, let alone get to touch one. So I wasn't. This was 12, 13 years ago. And I sat there on the floor, you know, Indian style, just going through the manual, checking wire tracing, hooking shit up, figuring the radio out. I got her working. Took about 2 hours, probably 3 hours, but it was fun. And then I was fucked.
Yeah.
I didn't get to take it out and go dig with it or anything, but I was driving around and using it and lifting it up with the boom. And it just seems like too much fun.
Yeah, let me share the screen real quick.
Oh yeah, that's right. Stupid permissions. I gotta figure out a way to change that. Get the mouse on the right screen here. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. That should be it.
Okay. Like, this is one of the things I was looking at the other day. It was just like, what the fuck?
There we go. It's working.
Like that. Just, that's crazy.
2 pumps.
Dude, it's just nuts. And they're big. Like, those are big fucking motors.
Yeah,
that's an X360 right there.
Yep, it's pretty amazing. Because yeah, when I was working on the one that came into the shop, the Chinese stuff didn't exist.
Yeah.
You're talking, I think he said he spent like, I don't know, 15 grand or more on it. And I'm like, oh, I'll never get one of those. And then the shit starts 5 grand, 4 grand, 3 grand, 2 grand. I'm like, oh boy.
Well, it's clean. Like, they do a good job on this shit. It's routed,
man.
clean.
Like, so I find no need to buy the more expensive shit. The Chinese stuff is right up there.
It's fucking huge, man. It's just so big.
I was watching a Chinese guy on the side of the road, on Facebook. The stub shaft for the bearings and everything had broken off on a semi truck over there.
Mhm.
Wheels and tire went flying. This guy comes up, mills it down flat, puts a new one on. You watch him weld it by hand, dude. Looks like a fucking robot did it. Yeah, when it comes to metalwork and fabricating and shit, they got it down to like how
Dude,
Americans did 30, 40 years ago.
yeah, they got it down. Oh, that's familiar. Here you go. That'll look familiar.
Oh, yeah. Everyone rides in it wrong, man. I'm the only one that ever sits Indian style in it. It hurts like shit. It's, you got to keep stretching, right? Keep your joints limber and young.
Yeah, keep moving.
What sucks is like it's not so bad by myself. My knees get a little beat up from bouncing on the box sides, but otherwise your hips get a little sore and shit. But riding in at 5, 10 minutes at a time isn't too bad. But then when I got Cadence on my lap, and
Yeah.
then Dylan, or it used to be Capone, on her lap, oh god! But I love it. We all pile in, and that thing just fucking drives and turns and does everything like nothing. Like
Until
this.
you hit a metal pole and break the servo.
Yeah, you gotta watch those tent poles when people are just. You can't drive like this talking to people. Doesn't work. Amazing. It's funny how that works, but that's all right. I fixed it. I've got a spare one, so it'll never happen again. A guy in the shop, what was it? Yesterday morning, I think.
Oh,
He's
fuck.
getting a, what was he getting? I can't even remember now. He's getting something. Oh, Granite Grom. He's like, has there been any issues with these or anything? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, the only real issue they ever had that I've seen is when the first run had some weak diffs, but they learned that they had to tighten the screw like another half a turn to get it the right tension. And they've all been fine since the first run. Like occasionally, maybe someone breaks an A arm or something. He's like, all right, give me some front A arms. Like, all right, give him some. I'm like, they're probably not going to break anyways. He's like, well, now I know they never will because I have spares. And I'm like, my man, I'm right with you on that. Whenever I have spare shit with me or for something, never fails. Except for the fucking 870K, that goddamn loader. Use the same logic on that. I'm going to buy a whole spare axle and this and that. All that shit still broke. Fucked up my mojo loader. Come on. Oh, well, that was interesting as usual. All
Yeah.
RC. How did you live, Beetle? All RC, then farming, and then back to RC.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen.
Never know. Oh
Wild
shit.
card, bitches. I can't believe that show's still on TV. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Oh, there it is.
I gotta finish this. I just
You're so close now, aren't you?
I'm stupidly close, and then I'm like, oh, I need to do this. Oh shit, I need to do that. Oh fuck, I need to do this. Like it's just stupid shit that I gotta finish.
It's always that stuff. Someone was looking at my 6x6 military wrecker that I
Mhm.
started 8 years ago, probably. And it runs and drives. The wrecker
Yeah.
bed, everything's finished. Suspension's all done. It works. All the electronics are in it. But I had a bullhead body that I've modified to make it look kind of like World War II-ish, Oshkosh-ish mix.
Hmm.
And because you can't really get a deuce and a half body, or a 5 ton. Um, and so I kind of mixed them. And I'm
Oh,
like
okay.
80% done with the body work because I think there was like a
Okay.
hundred body mods or something last time I checked it. I did a lot
Uh-huh.
of Irene and body mod work to it. And it's 80% done. The truck runs and drives and is flawless. I just got to finish the last fucking 5 hours of work on the cab, but you get to that point and you're like, because then now I'm cutting doors out and putting hinges in, right?
Yeah.
And shit like that, and making the dash out of fucking taking tube styrene and cutting it flat to be gauge bezels and all that
Hmm.
bullshit. And I'm like, ugh, this part really sucks. The rest of
Yeah.
this body work sucked, but this part really sucks. So here we sit. I haven't touched it in 6 years probably. That's another one. It'll get done. They always do eventually.
That is red.
What?
I got some of the they're the red flickering lights. They flicker.
Oh, like the doobie light in my hippie truck.
Yeah, so they
Yep.
yeah, it just flickers. Because I'm putting an exhaust stack on the back, and I'm gonna
Okay.
put two of these in each exhaust stack so they kind of glow at night
Yep.
and they'll flicker. So yeah,
Got some hot
that's
EGTs, motherfucker.
what's that?
You got some hot EGTs.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I have is to put those in and wire them. And I already got pigtail right here for it.
And
So
that's
I just
it. Done.
yeah, I mean really that's it.
Well, fucking finish it.
I know. Well then I gotta start building the other one.
It's like 5 minutes of work right now.
Oh no.
You're quick with the soldering.
I am, but I just have to route shit. There's actually surprisingly not a lot of room in here with everything.
Oh, so the pigtail's a lie. There's still other shit to do.
Well, the pigtail has to go, like I gotta route it and then I gotta split it between the two. And then and then I'm also putting the spotlight up here on the gun turret, so it'll turn with the gun turret, the spotlight will. So it's got the headlights and the fenders, the tail lights and the rear fenders. It'll have the exhaust lights and the spotlight. So it'll have some lights on it.
Nice.
So at night, it'll be fun at night. But
Might take mine and paint it all weird and shit and make it like one of the vehicles that, out of Rick and Morty. When
well,
they
I'm
were
still gonna weather this a
Mad
bunch too.
Max.
I'm gonna do a bunch of weathering on this when I get it done. So
Yeah.
there's little shit I gotta get a little like parts I have to print, like little hub covers, and there's still little like shit I want to print and put on it.
There we go. Okay. So it's not done.
No, it is a bunch of detail work. Like mechanically and electrically, it's really close, but the
Yeah.
detail I want to do more detail work on it. And then I said I want to start getting the other one built, and then I got the other three-wheeler to build. Um, my side the gyro cycle. That's going to be the headache.
Tires to order, 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 tires to order.
Yeah, don't forget tires.
All right.
That's
Hopefully
that's literally what I'm waiting for on the three-wheeler right now.
yeah, my bad.
Um, yeah, and then I mean that's the only like I got other projects, but like for Proline, it's the three-wheelers, this or these, the gyro cycle. That's it
Yeah.
for Pro. I
That's
mean,
it.
I would like.
Just
Well, I
fine.
got all summer. I got all summer, man. Remember, I don't work in the
Yeah,
summer.
that's true. That's true. It's not till October, so
Yeah.
just
So
remember
I
not
got
to put it off until like the end of July, beginning of August when you're getting ready to go back to school.
no.
Summer flies by.
I'll get bored during summer and come out here and fuck around with this obsessively, probably.
Uh, Small Hall got a hold of me today, and that I sent the combine to the Erdl
Mhm.
International Combine 1460, I think it is. Um, and he's had it for a while, but he's busy with builds, right, for a few months yet. So he's like, I just got out of the box today because I wanted to get it out and start looking at it and thinking about it. I was like, perfect. I totally relate, you know? And he sends me a video and he's like, I'm gonna have to totally build all new custom steering and everything for the rear because it had play like this. And I'm like, that's fine. I trust you. And then he sent me some other ideas. He's like, you know what? Just call me. So I called him and he's explaining shit. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. You know, no problem. We're going to make the header go up and down. The rake will spin on
Yeah.
the wheat head. The auger will spin on the corn head. It will steer. It'll have a locked front axle. We were talking about locked, unlocked. I'm like, well, it's going to be on flat dirt, but we know how this heavy converted shit and a lot of the equipment and semi trucks and shit, if it's not hard packed, if it's unlocked, it's bleh. So I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go with the locked. Better safe than sorry. Um, he's gonna have to. There's nowhere to put the servo in the back. So he's like, yeah, I don't want to use cables. I'm like, nope, those sons of bitches stretch and give you problems. He's like, yep, exactly. You use it a dozen times and it's fine, and then you have to adjust it, and you're adjusting it endlessly. So he's gonna rig up a whole linkage setup, and he'll do a great job. Like all the steering, God, not Pitman arm, that's on the box, the off the knuckle. The steering arms and shit off the knuckles, I'm sure he'll build all out of brass or something and shit like he does and paint up, and it'll be dope. So,
Yeah.
uh, and then I reminded him, I'm like, don't forget, I can let me know any servos and this and that shit because I can get it cheaper through the shop,
Yeah.
wholesale.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I can get a lot better stuff for cheaper. He's like, well, we're probably gonna want at least 300 ounces for steering. And I started laughing. I'm like, oh shit, that's nothing. I'm like, that's easy, dude. I'm gonna get a $40 servo that'll do that. But I'm like, so 444 or something will do it just fine. He's like,
Yeah.
well, it's got that much at 6 volts. And I'm like, I think the 444 is that at 6 volts. I'm like, it might be 7.4. I got to double check, but it'll be way over 300. I can always do 555 or whatever if I need to.
Mhm.
I'm like, so, and then, but then he's like, well, maybe I was thinking a Lisu axle in the front. And I'm like, well, that shit I can't get. I don't have
Yeah.
any wholesale connections for that. So I can either order it and ship it to you, or you can order it and add it to the tab, whatever is easier for you. And, but I'm like, motors, servos, ESCs, receivers, all that crap. Let me know. I got you. You start needing Lisu axles and oddball parts like that, I'm out. You can get it just as easily as I can at the same price. So, in fact, he probably knows where to get it cheaper and faster than I do. He's been doing it so long. So I'm excited. He said it's going to be a few months before he gets to it. Like I said, he just wants to get it out and pick it up once in a while and look at it and let his brain think. And I told him, I'm like, really? I just want to buy Cabin Fever next year, which is like 8 months away. He's like, perfect. That's what I was thinking. So I should have a new toy at Cabin Fever. I guess I've started a tradition there. Damn it. Expensive traditions. But it's oh so worth it. Because I'll have this shit forever. What are you doing?
Oh, Lord goodness.
That's relatively close too, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Has it
I
passed prototyping for it like actually working smoothly and enough bearings in it and tolerances are good and it moves and everything, or is it not
Yeah, I
passed?
mean, like everything rolls and does the things. Um, I gotta redesign my saddle for the battery. That's what fucked me last time. This broke. Um, and then I'm gonna need I need a I need more travel in the servo. It doesn't move enough. The whole gantry doesn't slide and rotate over enough.
What
So I gotta.
servo is it?
It's just a little micro MG90, just a little cheapy.
Okay. Because like was it a 199 or 99 or whatever? 179. It's the other one from Reese, 180. I can't remember. There's too goddamn many now. Might work and they can be continuous. So you can set
Yeah,
your
they
want.
make a continuous rotation of this servo, and I even think I
Yeah.
have some. I just have to go hunt it down. Um, the problem with continuous though is it doesn't self-center. That's
Mm,
what I run into.
it
So
doesn't, because I'm sure the Reese ones still do, I think. Or maybe it depends on maybe if you have in continuous mode you can set endpoints, but it doesn't. I'll have to
yeah,
talk.
in continuous you can't because you can't have a potentiometer on it. Because your
Yeah, but
potentiometer can't
like
go.
there'd be some sort of sensor that can still tell where it's at and it's 360 degrees away.
I've never seen a continuous servo that has a self-centering. Never seen it. I mean, I'd love to see if they are. I've never seen it before.
Well, because I'm almost certain you can set a lot of the newer Reef Smart servos up either way. You can make it a continuous winch servo, or you can make it a standard servo that has the 180 degrees of throw or whatever it is, 270, whatever it is.
Oh,
So I'll talk to him about that. He's been talking
oh,
to me.
and yeah, I wonder how he's doing how he's sensing center then, because usually you use a potentiometer.
Yeah,
He's probably using a Hall effect sensor
that
because those
yeah.
aren't mechanical.
I was
But
gonna
those
say
aren't mechanical, so you can just tell it to shut off, and it'll just because they're not mechanical, they're magnetic.
yeah,
So in
yeah.
that case, yeah, you can tell it to go into. But when you're in continuous mode, I would be surprised if it could center
That's what I don't know. So we'll have to see.
because if you spin 4 times, it's got to spin 4 times back. So it'd have to know. They'd have to have the logic to know to go back 4 times to center. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So continuous rotation servo,
For
you could
yours.
go 10 times and it wouldn't have to know, go back 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen that before.
I don't know. I'm not a programmer.
I've seen
So I
360s.
can't say.
I've seen 360 servos that center because they go 360 and then they go back. Like you can go 360 either way. In 360 servos that self-center. But after you get past one rotation, that's when things get weird because
Does yours need to throw more than 360?
yeah, I need it to rotate a couple times.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I need a continuous rotation. I need like a sail servo or a winch servo style.
Yeah.
So that it can rotate and like it needs to move this so much farther. And it can't, I mean, it's just, yeah, it's not going far enough.
Yeah.
I
And
don't,
then way to
it
rate
might be,
cocaine.
it might. I haven't got to test it really properly enough yet to know, but I don't think it's going to move enough to make it turn.
Was there a way to cantilever the mechanism or something where it overthrows, what you can actually throw?
Well, it's geared. It's a rack and pinion.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I need more.
Yep.
I need more. And I physically don't have the room to run a bigger pinion. Like there's not enough physical room. My pinion's is large. If you look, you can see it right there. There's the pinion, the blue one.
Yep.
That's the pinion. And so there's no space there between it and the gyro gear.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, space.
That's always the issue.
Yeah, well, and there's even more shit I'm gonna have to put in here at some point. Like the majority of it's here, but there's more. And I need smaller speed controllers. I need this is so rough still. It's proving the concept. If I can make this run and drive, I know I can do it. Then I'll put the effort into like really doing it right.
Finalizing it, yeah, dialing it in.
Yeah, I mean the main
Oh,
mechanics are good. The main mechanics are good. It's just gonna like
Proof
okay,
of concept, if you will.
yeah. So like once I know this works, I'll take and refine it. I'll get smaller speed controllers. I'll hide them better. I'll make channeling for the wiring so the wiring's tucked in and tight. And
Yeah.
like just all that little aesthetic shit. Once I know it works. So it's like it drove forward. It drove forward and stayed vertical. It's the turning now. That's where
I'll forget when I went crazy on the bench that one night. That was hilarious.
yeah. Yeah, I drove it. I mean, it went 6, 8 feet here, no problem, and it didn't tip over. It stayed up, but
I think it was lizard night. As I recall,
probably
your comeback for lizard night for laughing at me getting attacked by a lizard.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And like an hour later, you were trying to test it and it went buck wild. I remember your microphone went flying, shit went flying everywhere.
Oh, that's not the night it broke, though. That's not the night it broke.
No, but the night it fucking went crazy. And
Yeah, or when it went bonkers on my bench. Yeah,
uh-huh.
that shit was funny.
I was like, there you go, turnabout's fair play, son of a bitch.
It actually goes pretty far. It actually travels a good inch, so it might work. I just need to fuck with it more.
Yep, just time to test.
I need to redo that truss so it's stronger, and then yeah, just fucking test it some more. I need to find a bigger area. I need to take it to school in like our gym or something, so I have a big open area to fuck with it.
Yeah, because
To
you
dial
have rubber on the outside or whatever now, right?
Not yet. No,
Is
it
that
doesn't.
still plastic? Okay, it's hard
It's
to
just
tell.
yeah, it's just the pizza. Yeah, I really should probably. The thing I'm worried about with that is too much traction with stopping the momentum, the inertia. So I kind of want to have it slip
I'm
right
just
now.
thinking about the poor janitors in the gym if you're fucking skidding around out there. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
this won't mark up the wood. This is
no.
PLA. It won't mark up the wood. So, or I can go in a hall. The hall's got carpet. I can just run it up and down the hallways after school.
Yeah.
Freak all my other coworkers out. What the fuck is that?
What's going on outside?
They all know I'm a mad scientist.
Later.
There's always weird shit going on in the school, and they're like, "Oh, it's just Chris. Don't worry about it." It's quite literally.
We're jaded and immune now.
Like I'll have the whole side of our school smelling like smoke from using the laser cutter, and they're like, "What's that?" Oh, it's just Chris using the laser cutter. Like it's just like,
See, the school smells smoke around me. Smoke and you're doing Don't worry.
Oh man,
You're in Oregon, that would fly, right?
Oh
No,
fuck yeah.
it's Washington where you can fucking smoke weed and eat shrooms and do whatever you want, right? Oregon's not quite that far yet.
Oh no, you can get away with anything here. When
Yeah.
it comes to that shit. The only thing they don't want is the hard shit. That's the shit they crack down on. The fucking the fentanyl and fucking the heroin. Bad, bad.
Yeah, coke, meth, crack, heroin,
Yeah,
fentanyl.
meth is really bad around here. So that's the shit that they really go after. But the only thing that with pot is they just go after the guys with big illegal grows. That's all they give a shit about. The
Yeah.
guys that are trying to grow and not pay their taxes.
Yep.
Otherwise, they do not give a fuck. I was
Yep.
walking up the street the other day, Dad was just hitting a doobie hard, and I was like,
Really? And
"That
that's
was
legal?
yeah, it's completely legal. It's like smoking a cigarette."
But I can't walk down the street pounding a fifth or a beer unless I'm in Vegas and maybe a select few other counties or
Yeah,
so.
no, you can smoke, and yeah, I've never. Yeah,
Wow.
people smoke in public. Yeah,
How glorious.
it's like smoking. I mean, you can't like in front of businesses and shit, just like cigarettes. You can't smoke within like 10 feet of an entrance of a building or whatever. Blah blah blah. But like if you're out at a concert and shit, yeah,
Well, shit, it's probably this way on the West Coast too, but like as someone that smokes, like if I'm out bullshitting with friends or having drinks or whatever, man, you get looked at like you're sitting there smoking crack. Most places smoking a cigarette now. Even if
oh
you
God. Well, they have
get
all
by
the bars
yourself.
up here because you can't smoke within 10 feet of the entrance of a bar or 10 feet
Oh,
in 10
yeah, I think
feet of the
it's
entrance of any
25
business.
feet here.
What's that?
I think it's 25 feet here. And it's
Yeah, it might be that. It's I don't remember what it is, but so all the bars have smoking areas now, covered, heated smoking areas for people to go out
mostly
and
for
smoke.
weed smokers, right?
Oh yeah, you go out there, you're getting a contact high. Like you're fucking
I'd probably get in trouble for going out there to smoke a cigarette. This is for just kind buds, bro.
pretty much, man. Oh yeah, they'll talk. They'll
Like,
start
good. I got
sharing.
some of those too. Fuck off.
They're sharing, talking about strains. Like it's yeah, it's all and shit. It was pretty much like that before it was legal too. Just nobody said anything.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, my battery is 10%, 25 minutes, which probably means about 10 minutes. So at least we got you to get everything out at the end here and get your noodles spinning on it again.
yeah, I need to
It
work
always
on it.
helps.
Now that I'm feeling better and like I'm gonna have some time soon. I want to fuck with this one because it's so fucking close. Everything's really close. The three-wheeler, everything's really close. So
I'm glad I brought this home, even though I didn't really do dick to it. The same kind of thing. Got to look it over, get my head spinning, get wrapped around. Hopefully, it's 10 minutes to do, maybe an hour at most. And I know that now. It's easy. Saturday or Sunday job when I'm not at the shop.
yeah, I want to do the dual gyro one too. I really want to do that one.
Yeah. Is that
This is all I have for that. This is all I've got so far. It's a long ways for that one.
Yeah.
But it's simpler mechanically. Well, kind of. Because I do want to do it scale. I want to put a freaking like a blown big block scale motor with a 550 in it to a
Yeah.
trans through a differential to the drive lines out to each wheel. Like I want it to be fucking scale,
That would be
scale,
badass.
scale sci-fi
Yeah.
apocalypse thing.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Yeah, I wanted to like look at it and be like, what the fuck? Whoa, what the fuck?
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
Yeah, because I want the guy sitting up above the motor, big fucking zoomies, the transmission, fucking drive line to the
And there's
diff.
like a little guy on his shoulder.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to have what I'm gonna do is the guy's gonna sit like right in front of the motor, kind of like an airboat. Like he's sitting up above the motor like that, big fucking
Yeah.
levers. And then inside of each wheel, I want to put another dude with a gun turret on each one. So it'll be, sitting like this with two of them. The guy sitting in the middle driving, there'll be a dude
Yeah.
sitting here, a gun turret that can turn. One over here, the gun turret can turn. So
That one would be a lot more easy to stabilize too.
yeah, we'll need the gyro part. It's just gonna be two big wheels. So it'll just be two big wheels. Doesn't need the gyro.
Yep.
So it's simpler and it's mechanically still kind of tricky because I want those to tilt in and out. So it'll have to have the drive line.
Oh,
Will
I
have to
forgot about that. Yeah.
So it'll have two actuators. Like so, if you look, this is the new lower part of that. So I've got a mount for the actuator right here, and then this
Okay.
is a pin for it to ride on.
Yep.
So it'll tilt, so it'll be like in this mode, they'll both be straight up, but then they can both tilt in,
Yep.
kind of into this mode. So,
That'll be real stable for hauling ass.
oh yeah, it should haul balls and it'll fucking spin on a dime and
Yep.
uh, yeah, it should look fucking rad. That one I'm really jazzed to make that one. So, but that one
Full line 2025.
yeah, I want to get these dialed in, and then like if I somehow miraculously get these done really early, then I'll dive into that. And the thing with that's just going to be printing parts, just a lot of printing parts.
Yeah, like you're not
And
used.
then yeah, then having the money to buy the transmission and the diff and the drive lines and
Mm,
actuators, like I have the funds to buy all the electronics and mechanicals,
yeah,
all the
actuators are
bearings.
way better than
Yeah,
they used to be, but they're still expensive.
yeah, they're gonna be a fuck ton of bearings, so that's gonna be spendy. Even at $1 a bearing, that's gonna be
You
shit.
get a hold of Jim from Jim's Bearings.
6, 12, 18, 24.
Buy bulk, you'll get them way cheaper.
It's gonna have probably 60 bearings in it minimum.
Yeah. You get a hold of Jim. He'll hook you up.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him. I usually go Fast Eddie 'cause I'm West Coast,
Yeah.
but I can yeah, if we can get somebody on board because
Jim's,
lots
I've
of
been
fucking
using Jim's Bearings for, God, I think he's been doing that for like 6, 7 years now. I never had an issue.
yeah.
Great bearings at great prices. He just buys insane bulk and then packs it up into kits and whatever. But you can get a hold of him and be like, hey, I need 40 of this and 20 of this and 2 of this and 8 of this. And you'll get it way cheaper than like even buying 10 packs or whatever.
Yeah, Fast Eddie sells them for $1 a piece, most bearings. So
Yeah,
they're
you
just
might be
metal
looking from Jim.
cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, I've designed it around common sizes, like 5x10s and common shit. So,
Yeah.
but
And Eddie's
it's
cool. Fast Eddie bearings are great. Like I'm not trying to talk shit about Eddie.
oh yeah. Well, like I said, it's just because I'm on the West Coast and
Uh,
he's West Coast, so it just makes
yeah.
sense for me. You're East Coast, I think Jim's East Coast, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes
He
sense. Yeah,
started in Central Florida. Now he's up in Ohio.
yeah. So yeah, that's just whoever's closest to you makes the sense.
Yep.
But yeah, this one will be really rad if I can get the time to fuck with it.
There's a few sites for heavy equipment, Tommy. You can get it from RC four-wheel drive. That's going to be all like JD Models stuff. And that's most of what I have, and I love it. You can get it from Eagle Mock, but they're more of the international distributor, whereas RC four-wheel drive is the American one. Prices are generally going to be the same. Shipping should be around the same. And then there's Toucan Hobby, and they sell like fucking everything.
Everything, yeah.
They have more brands than I can list because the Chinese are just popping out. Like now there's this new eye whale brand that made that sick crane. And Toucan has a fucking all. Like you go to Toucan
Yeah,
Hobby, you can scroll through pages of equipment and semis and
yeah.
shit for a long time. Even if you're not clicking, just looking at shit. If you start clicking and looking at each one, you could spend a few hours easy looking at stuff that's cool.
I get stuck on their Facebook page all the time, just like fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, the Toucan Hobby on Facebook posts videos of stuff that's coming out, and they'll
Awesome.
post videos of like their assembly line work and how they're building shit so you can see how it is. It's all in really well organized, clean, good stuff. You almost wonder sometimes if it's like just one mastermind that owns all these companies that are coming out of China now.
Right?
And just the way their shit works, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah.
Um, I have no idea if that's true. I haven't looked into it or talked to anyone about it. But the Toucan has everything. If you're
Yeah.
buying in the US for the most part, RC4
Hello,
will.
good day, all my dear friends. Let's unbox one bag for look.
Oops.
There's Oliver.
I'm checking out that backhoe again.
Oh,
Probably back for me, but
oh, the 1/8. Or no,
no, I think it's a 12 scale.
right. Oh, 12. So that's
Yeah,
still pretty
12 scale.
good. Um,
It's fucking gorgeous. I have a thing for the white
Anchor.
tractors. I don't know why.
Yeah, you racist.
I have a thing. Shut up. This one. This is the one I've been oogling right here.
Oh yeah, that looks like the Lisu. I'm pretty
Dude.
certain.
And the fucking it slides like the rear fucking
It is ridiculous, dude. The guy inside turns around to
yeah.
look at the backhoe when you operate the backhoe.
Oh, fucking pretty.
Like, oh, there's no guy in that one. Okay, but it is just absolutely fucking insane.
It is so pretty.
Jeremy
Like,
had one, was thinking about getting one. I think we talked about it here a few months ago. And I hit him up and he sold it like 2 days before. And I was like, good. Because that was another one where like I didn't really want it, but I wanted it.
yeah.
And then I was like, oh, you don't have it? Good. That saves me a bunch of money.
There's got to be so much shit crammed into that chassis to make that work.
It's pretty amazing. I tell you what, if you ever like just my skid steer.
Look at that. The fucking
Yeah.
goddamn bucket opens. Like it's just
And I think it remote detaches as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It does
There's
every
fuck ton. I mean, yeah, it's got the lift jacks in the back, the boom slides, the whole boom works.
and
Just
that's one
everything.
thing, Tommy, with Toucan, is you can make an order from them and custom order paint colors and shit like that.
Oh shit.
Like, oh, I don't want yellow, I want white, or I want blue, or I want green, or I want red, or I want black, and they'll do
Yeah.
it. I don't know if I've never done it, so I don't know if there's any extra charge to it or anything like that. They're gonna paint it
Yeah.
regardless, so I doubt it. But I can't speak to that for certain.
Door, all the hardware,
Yeah,
detailed. Jesus.
they're legit, dude. The interior is super dope.
It's so good. Look at that fucking just man.
It's all very well done shit.
It is. It just blows me away how well done it is.
And I know 2 or 3 guys that have them. And last I'd heard from any of them, I guess I might as well kill it at the end here. We could 18 minutes left, so be prepared, guys. If all of a sudden it goes black, we already said peace out. My battery died. Well, Chris will be here to exit for us, but they love them. Haven't had any problems with them I'm aware of or anything, even with all that different functionality. Because when they get that compact with that many functions, you kind of start to wonder.
Yeah. And look at
Have to
that. A
work.
remote unlock and lock.
Yeah, you got your lock pin. It's an absolute
Yeah,
fucking
remote does it.
concept.
Yeah. Remote unlock pin.
Mm-hmm.
It's just every little fucking detail. The lights.
Yep. They're nuts.
It's
And another thing, Tommy, when you like if you see a new piece of equipment come out, I had to learn this the hard way over the past several years. Don't buy that shit. Even if you're like, fuck, I have the money and I really want this exactly what I've been looking for. Let it sit for a year or two.
Yeah.
Because in a year, prices will probably come down as much as 25%. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. 25% is a good average. And they'll add things like, let's say the first run doesn't come with lights and sound. But then 3-6 months later, all of a sudden they come with lights and sound for the same price.
Yeah, they'll sweeten the deal.
A year later, when the price is even cheaper, they found a weak spot in the axle and they're on axle version 2. And so you'll save 30% and buy a much better unit.
Newer version. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, his backhoe's badass. It's got to be what, $2,500 probably though. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. No. Those were 6 or 7K when they came out 2 years ago, I think, year and a half ago. But I think they're like 4 now. So again, that just goes to show you. It's still a lot of money for that backhoe. Now you see why when Jeremy had already sold it, I was like, ah, sweet.
If I dropped 4K on one though, that would be it. I would want the backhoe.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do
virtually everything with it.
Yeah, you do everything with it. It just fucking does everything.
Well, and the guy that got the 797 mining truck like mine, does that beat the creek? I'm like, it's actually practical, dude. Like I load up and unload using this thing at events and stuff because I can pack a shit ton. Way more than I can carry and drive it just as fast as I can walk. And like around the house before when it's been here and around the shop, when you move something or do this, fire that up, fucking do it.
Oh, this one has the spinning seat too. He just doesn't have a driver in it. It showed the seat spinning.
Yep, told
Yeah.
you. Fucking
Just
look.
another servo. They're just like, let's just throw a servo on the seat, because why not?
Tommy, I will never financially recover from that if I get started buying equipment. You just have to pace yourself.
I
Trust
know.
me, it's hard, but you just one a year. And you think, oh, but I want more than one piece.
You have broke that rule so many times, though, Nick.
No, very rarely. I broke it. Once or twice I've broken it. But for many years, I've been steadfast to it. And it works
How many
out
have you bought this year? How many have you bought this year?
1.5.
Bullshit.
Because the
Wait,
rollers,
wait. The grader. Didn't you buy the grader this year?
that was last year.
Was it last year? Okay. Because that was the last one you bought, and then it was
No, the roller was the last one I bought. See, last year, the only one I bought was the grader. I wanted to buy it months earlier, but I'd already bought one. And Jeremy was willing to hold it for me for several months.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't have the money because the grader was 4K. It was expensive. I'm like, I can't have spent $2,800 or whatever I did and then another 4K in 1 year. I just can't do that shit. It's not gonna, I'll never financially recover from that.
See, I forgot the roller. So you got the roller. Did you get the
I
roller?
got that. Then he had the roller when I picked up the Packer. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You already get me a year out. Or no, it was at Beat the Creek last year
Yep.
after Camp Fever. And I saw it and I used it and it worked. Like I used it this year for an hour or two. And it actually backed shit. Like I used it a ton at Camp Fever.
Yeah.
Nope. So I picked that up there from him this year. So that's why I say 1.5, because it was negotiated last year, picked up this year, and then I just so happened to buy the loader at Beat the Creek.
And what about the Erdl?
Fucking cut off. I don't pay for that till next year. Well, that's next year's. See?
You're just buying them. You're prearranging the purchase.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially on the scraper, man. I've been looking for one for years and they just don't fit. I was like, I had to. When he first got it, I'm like, dude, if you sell that to anyone else, I'll fucking kill you.
What about the semi truck that you bought that you're still putting together?
What's semi truck?
The one for your for the semi truck stuff, the one you were gonna build when you went to
That's a fucking,
gear jammer.
that's a business expense. That's a whole other, that's the business's, not mine. That doesn't count. All the heavy equipment is mine personally.
Wait a second. It's the businesses, but who owns the business?
I do. But it doesn't count. It's different. Yeah, the Gear Jammer truck is owned by Gear Jammer. So you know how that works. But yeah, he's just patience because you think like, oh, I'm never gonna have enough. Dude, after 2-3 years, when you have just 2 or 3 of them, you're like, this is fucking dope. We're broke doing it.
Oh, this conversion shit's gonna get me
Then
fucked
when
for
you're
sure.
8-9 years in and you've got like 9 pieces of equipment, you're like, this is glorious.
I'm so mad that I didn't get that fucking badass John Deere brooder that I saw that one day. I wish I should have just fucking pulled the trigger on that.
Yep. You probably
that was really fucking cool. So yeah. The crane truck will be cool though when I'm done with it. I got a lot of cool plans for the crane truck.
Yeah.
That should be pretty cool. But I got the axles coming.
Like a baby version of the badass $15,000 one, I think, right?
Yeah, it looks like
it's like a smaller version of that crane, like 6 wheels or whatever. Gotta go. My time's ticking. I could just disappear at any moment.
Oh, hiccups. There it is. Yeah. There it is. That's it right there.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Same concept, just a lot smaller.
Yeah. It's still pretty decently sized.
Yeah,
not yet.
I had the same rooter cab on my record.
Yeah, nothing like the big one though, but yeah.
Yeah, there's actually that like they run those maximum cranes right by my house. There's a yard of them. Yeah. That's weird because it's all residential, but you'll poke over and you'll see huge fucking crane booms, like chunks of them that are 40 feet long, 15 feet, 20 feet wide, sticking up. Because they go anywhere from probably the size you showed up to fucking big shit. Big crawler crane.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah,
the
the boom goes.
the Weiss Brothers crane. Standing next to a 10-foot tall RC crane that works is pretty fucking tough.
Yeah, this is it with the boom all the way extended too. So the boom goes pretty good.
Yeah, it's got a priapism.
Yeah. So.
That's what she said.
It has an extension.
It curves up to hit the G spot.
So let me whip this out real quick.
Yeah. My battery's seriously about to die.
Right on, man.
ADT. Yeah, they're XDRC. I have both the same. The same ADT, same loader. Great. Yeah, GP's chiming in late as fuck. Come on, Chris, get it together, bro. So yeah, my battery's about to die. We gotta go. It's fun bullshit.
Adios, man. Adios.
I know it's toast. So peace out, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. Glad we were able to help Tommy ruin him. And hopefully you have some equipment.